All right. Yeah.
Another one.
It's your boy Boss. Let's go.
Run it up.
Man. Yeah. Playoffs. What's the difference between 2021 and 2022? I know y'all want to know. Because there's some differences. And, you know, obviously the way we finish the season, some people like, ooh, are we ready to go? Well, yeah, we gonna talk about it. And we gonna talk about, you know, are we really ready for Monday? I say absolutely we are, man. Come on, man. Without a doubt. But I gotta talk to the people that measure Koolaid with your boy Boss. And so we gonna do that. So y'all just sit back, man. Y'all chill out. Relax. I even changed the intro music for the playoffs. Let's get it. I'll be right back. Let me build this play. Let's go. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Come on in the building. We saw the Giants just pull theirs out. Now it's sock time. Let's go. Let's go. We from the South. Come on, if you're from the South, say what's up. Shout out. Let's go, man. Let's get it. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Yes. Let's go. All right, let's go, man. So I know y'all just watched that game. I did too. Between New York. Boy, that was a lesson on why it ain't bad to sometimes draft you a one tech, because that boy Dexter Lawrence was out there doing his thing, man. Run it up. I just got to give credit, man. That boy.
Run it up.
That boy was doing his thing. Yeah. So, yeah, you know, the Giants moved on. We next. So, and I'm confident in that. And one of the things that I'm definitely going to be taking calls today, but I want to really deal with this. You know, sometimes things be on your heart. You sitting back and you just thinking, you like, you know, it's to help us enjoy this moment, because I feel pretty certain we getting ready to win. I want to go through some major differences though. Very important in my opinion that we go through the differences between the 2021 playoff chances and the 2022 playoff chances, because they're different. Now, a lot of people would think, yeah, no, they're the same. No, it's different. But see, most people go start with the surface stuff, right? They go with, who did we lose? The Amari Cooper, the Elijah Collins, the Randy Gregory, right? And then they go kind of compare from there, because they look at it like everything is the same. You say I'm low? Hold on, let me turn me up. Hold on. Let me turn me up. Is that better? That should be better. All right. Yeah, I turned me up. Hopefully I had too much feedback. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear me okay. All right. Let me turn my music down some. All right. So let me know if y'all can hear me okay. All right, cool. All right, so everybody's saying I'm cool. Appreciate that, man. I always appreciate the feedback. But there are some differences, some major differences between 2021 and 2022. And I'm going to go through them, man, because it's important And I think one of the things when I go through this stuff, it's gonna give us not optimism because I'm always and go always be about measuring Kool-Aid on both sides of the coin. I'm never go give too much or just fake, blind, false optimism. I'm never gonna do that. It's a big thing for Boss Cowboy to actually say publicly that he drunk Kool-Aid. Listen, I do not drink Kool-Aid without first measuring. All right, so let's get down to it. All right. So number one, because I'm gonna go through a couple of things. What are we doing different this year that we was not doing last year? Okay. And I'm gonna take calls too. I'm gonna take a break every now and then, and we go take a pause. All right. Ooh, my boy said he posted this into 7 different Facebook groups. I sure appreciate that, Rodney. That's how to definitely do your part, man. Rodney said he shared this to 7. Whoa, big dog. Make it 14. make it 14.
Another one.
Yeah, I appreciate the shares. But I want to go through these things real quick that we doing that I don't think a lot of us are accounting that's very good. And it's some things that's bad, but most of it is good. And it's also why I think we go beat Tampa. Number one, the number one thing that we doing right, we doing a much better job of targeting the stars. If anybody remember, I spent a whole lot of time highlighting the playmaker talk about the dysfunction of treating our role players like stars and our stars like role players. That was one of the major points that he had when we lost to San Fran last year. One of the biggest travesties and want moments. One of the biggest travesties and want moments was to realize the lack of touches by Pollard and the lack of targets by CD Lamb. But this year is different. It's different this year. So this year, amazingly, they figured out how to target a number one again. And they're stars. So if you go look at, let me put my face on here real quick. If you go look at CD Lamb in 2021 in that season, he was targeted 120 times. That's even more times than even Amari was. Amari was targeted 104. That is malfeasance in terms of how to properly use a weapon. But if you look at this year and you look at the obvious change in target and treating a number one like a number one, this year, Mr. CD Lamb is right at about 156 targets. So just think about it. What if we had the common sense last year to actually target Amari and CD Lamb? See, because last year it was all about Kellen Moore's system, and we're going to talk about that. That's one of the key differences as we're going into the playoffs. We're doing a much better job this year at treating stars like stars. Now, do I trust Kellen Moore? No, absolutely not. But do I trust Mike McCarthy leading Kellen Moore? Absolutely yes. So that's one of the biggest things that I'm gonna highlight that's different about this year going into the playoffs. And last year, see, we all had optimism last year. We was all excited. We was excited last year going into the playoffs. We just beat Philly. We looked like we was 6-0 in the division. We was going in relatively hot. But we couldn't see. Well, I was starting to see it, because I'm gonna tell you when I started to see it. When we lost to Arizona, that's when I first started getting a smell of that fart noise called Kellen Moore's system. It was the first time I started smelling it, because I remember I did a video and I said, man, Arizona, they so beat up. We was facing them with they backup corners, and I said, if we lose this game, something wrong. And we lost. Farted. And when we farted like that, that's when I first started to suspect it, and I started really researching what was going on. And that's the first time I started hearing Kellen Moore talk about systems. And he was talking about Amari, and that's in that press conference is where he was talking about we didn't target Amari on purpose. And so I was like, whoa. And that's when I started putting it together. And so leading into San Fran, I was already afraid that they was going to not target their stars. And we didn't. And that's when the playmaker said, we treated our stars like role players and our role players like stars. And that's a dysfunction, and our ass is home. That's exactly what he said after the playoff loss. But look at what they're doing. So even Pollard last year, right? If you look at his touches, he had 169 touches and 719 yards. Going into this playoff, we're featuring him more like a star. Hold on real quick. So Montana, my boy Montana with the $2 super chat. Let me go down there and recognize the homie. Let me get my head off here. He said, anytime you say Kellen, boss, play that fart noise. Yeah, bro. Like, yeah, man. I got that queued up, bro, because a lot of people, they falling for Kellen. They have no idea. They don't see through it. They very surface on their analysis. Like, somebody sent me something talking about how balanced we are on offense. And I said, see, most of these, like, stat people, they too surface. See, stats, that don't do nothing to me. It's the context of the stats. It's also the specifics of the stats that most people don't ignore. See, you can't intimidate me with numbers. I'm a finance major. I graduated top of my class in a business school. I'm an economics major. You can't intimidate me with numbers. Like, you can't just flash numbers and flash a context and it go over my head. I know from being a finance major that a lot of times it's how you interpret those numbers and how do you get the full context of truth out of numbers. So you can't just run game on me. That'll work on somebody else, not me. Hold on real quick. Mickey with the super chat. She said, boss, if I can be real, a lot of these OCs in the playoffs tend to go away from the run. That makes me even more. Yeah, that makes me even more nervous on Keller's game plan. And we gonna talk about that. We gonna talk about that, Mickey. Stay tuned. Mickey, I got you. I'm a reference this super chat again when I address that. And that's the point that I'm making going into 2022, Mickey. But we go definitely address that, what you just brought up. But numbers don't intimidate me, and numbers shouldn't intimidate you. Let me give you an example. Like, so many people talk about, like, they'll flash stat you, right? They'll say, I mean, I don't miss Randy Gregory. Dorrance Armstrong had just as many sacks, 6, and the other guy had 6, boss. Stephen Jones did good, boss. But see, I already showed here on Boss Cowboy Sports the film. So it's the stat, and then it's the actual context, right? And so when you look at the context of those sacks, if you're comparing numbers, right, and you look at Randy Gregory's sacks, and you look at Armstrong's sacks, you see a major difference last year. One was athletic, meaning he won most of his one-on-ones, Randy Gregory, and Armstrong's was more cleanup sacks. You can clearly see it if you go look at the film, but if you let people just stat bully you, they'll force a context that's not even sound. So we don't fall for that here, man. That's why I measure the Kool-Aid on everything. I'm gonna talk about that even more. But so that's a big thing that I just talked about real quick. That's a major difference between 2021 and 2022. Is we're going into 2022, even though the receivers was better, we're going in with more of the Mike McCarthy's matchup philosophy. All right, real quick. My boy Blackwell said, I seen a $2 chat, then a $5 one, so I'm just being the first to see 10 bones. Man, I appreciate that, big dog, man. Be the first to see that the bones, homie. Appreciate that. Appreciate that, big dog. So, but that's big. So as we go on into the playoffs, I don't want us to be surface thinking, we about the same, or no, it's a big difference, because remember, that's what Emmitt was talking about. That's what the playmaker was talking about. When I interviewed Novacek, remember, that's what he brought up, was the fact that we was not targeting our stars. So this year, when you look at how we're going into the playoffs, we going into the playoffs with a deeper understanding that we can't put it all on the brains of Mr. Kellen Moore. We going to the playoffs understanding more so than we did last year that we need our stars to win this game. So I don't see us coming out of this game like we did versus San Fran last year. Even close to where Pollard had a measly freaking trash 4 touches. That's pathetic. That will not happen this year. And because that will likely not happen this year, we likely go play much better this year. The Shannon said, boss, do you think that we get TY touches, and how about 13 personnel? Thanks for being here for us. Yeah, we should. I mean, definitely TY should get more touches. At this point, he's at that ramp-up phase. So he should be ramping up right to the point where Amari was ramping up to really be a real threat to Tampa. And in terms of that 13 personnel, I want us to bring this out at the right time, especially on early downs. I don't want us to get too cute with 13 personnel, but I do want us to definitely run some 13 personnel on early downs. And then James with the super chat, he said, I have seen multiple QPs throw mad interceptions so far. It's been brushed aside by the 3 and 4 letter networks. Does it only apply to Dak? I can answer that, yes. They say you can't throw them and win playoffs. They quiet now. Yeah, and it's going to always be that. They going to always be very hypocritical. Very, very hypocritical when it comes to the Dak and the Dallas Cowboys. We got us another super chat from Montana. He said, boss, can you agree with this? Dallas wins the Super Bowl if Kellen, Boo Boo, and Dan make things easy. This can go around like this. Should have been. Yeah, we can, and that's the point. That's a good point. We can, and that's why it's important, Montana, that we look at how we're going in. See, we not going in like we went in last year. Most of us was blind to Kellen going in. We was just drunk on we the top offense. We the top offense in points and yards. But then after the playoffs, or with me after Arizona game, that's when most of us start looking at the details of his system like, this got a funny smell to it. Like a fart.
Bringing real back. He be speaking his mind. That boy with the shit.
And we begin to speak out on it. And that's exactly what happened. But going into this year is different. See, now we see clearer. Where are my clear out views? I used to put on Lokes when I used to make my points at College Cloud Views. I bring that back one day. I'll bring that back one day. But now, yeah, Montana absolutely is exactly what you said.
Another one.
Run it up.
Exactly what you said. So, like, don't fall for, or don't, in my opinion, don't be the people that are the scorn Cowboy fans. There's a lot of scorn Cowboy fans, and they not thinking this stuff through. They just in their emotions. It's been 27 years. It's been 27. I'm just tired, boss. Boss, I'm just tired. Boy, y'all, some of y'all sound like y'all scorn, man. Some of y'all, some of y'all sound so scorn, man. Boss, I'm just tired, boss. Boss, I'm sick of it. Nah, bro, listen, I'm not. We ain't got time to be talking like that. It's been 27 years, boss. When we gonna change? If you can't see we different than from 27 years ago, you tripping, bro. You tripping, bro. You got hit with the wee woo. You got.
Oh, you see this guy? Number one bullshit guy. He do the wee woo.
You got hit with it. And see, listen, you can't let that wee woo punch affect you, man. You can't. You got punched, but you can't let it affect you. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. You got to stick your chest out about the star. You know what I mean? Come on now. All right. But so the key first difference is we're doing, and I showed y'all the data on that. All right. The first key major difference is we're targeting our stars. So I showed y'all the proof on that. So now that y'all know that that's a fact, we giving way more targets to our number one this year than we was doing last year, and we're giving Pollard way more touches. That's telling you that we at least going to the playoffs, not thinking dumb like we was doing last year, where we was counting on Kellen Moore's system over stars. Number two, the discipline is better because also the team is older. See, people forget that we have the youngest roster in the NFL. Definitely bottom two for sure. So a lot of that actually was playing out in discipline. And some things you literally, when I take a break, I'll give him a wrench, Sadiq. But the discipline is much better. See, we got to remember that some things do take time. You just can't. Some things you can't rush. Like, you can't talk to your toddler and say, be mature. You can't talk to your teenager and say, you need to grow up. He's a teenager. That's a toddler. It takes time. This is a young team. So with young team, we saw young things. I'm going to say that again. With a young team, we saw young things. Yeah. Better chemistry. Yes, that too. People forget that we rebuilt that defense in one offseason. Think about it. The offseason before 2021, it was the worst defense we had in franchise history. And literally one offseason and one draft, we flipped it to top 5. That's good, but young. Just think about it. That's good, but that's also young. So I know your 14-year-old has a full beard. I get it. He has strong genetics. I know he can lift a car, but he's still 14. That's who we are as a team. And you can see it. And this is why going into 2022, I want y'all to hear me out. Going into the playoffs this time, we're better. We are. I'm not giving you fake Koolaid. Everything I'm telling you is true. It's backed up. It's factual. It's much better. Let's just take a look at it. let's just take a quick look and let's just see if I'm talking crazy. So if we take a look, all right, and we go look at the discipline, right? Let's go look at these penalties. Last year, number one in penalties with 127 was your Dallas Cowboys. Number one in the entire NFL. Not number two, not number three, not number four, number one with 127 penalties. And remember, that team was still 12-5. So just think about it. I know we was mad about what happened with the Washington the Washington Commanders. I know we was mad about that. But have you noticed we haven't been talking about penalties a lot? Have anybody noticed that? Huh? What does that tell you? That tells you what? Your team is maturing. Your team is growing up. Your young team is learning. And going into 2022, this playoff, we are statistically clearly better. We went from 127 to now. We are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're tied for 10. So 127 total penalties to 104. Which one is better? Which one is better as we're preparing to go into the playoffs? Which one is better? Clearly, we're going into the playoffs playing more disciplined football. Remember when we was playing that game, discipline took us out of the San Fran game almost more than anything. Do anybody remember how many penalties we had in that playoff game? I remember. Yeah, my boy Keystone with the super chat. Let me check out my homie with the super chat. He said, Tampa will use their star players more than we will. I hope you wrong, bro. Ooh. But yeah, more than likely, yes. We just need to use Keystone, our stars, more. But if we use our stars like they use their stars, we go thump them. Yeah, and then Trey said, the problem is our turnovers went up. So you saying basically at the end we start trending in the wrong direction. What games you talking about? Because if we trending in the wrong, because I didn't see that trend. It's because I'm looking at it from a macro level. I'm not looking at it like by game. I'm looking at the total macro. But trends are important, Trey. And I agree, trends are very important. So it's important to see the trend that we going into the playoffs. But I didn't see a whole lot of penalties from the Dallas Cowboys. And especially in our last 5 games. At least I don't remember a whole lot. Like I remembered us starting sloppy on Tampa game 1. I remember sloppy start. But I don't remember. I'm not saying you're wrong either. I just don't remember it. And I do want to be factual. So if we was trending, tell me the games in which you was trending. But this is the key. We had 14 penalties in the playoffs. We definitely needed to be going in the right direction on this. And remember all that nervous energy that Mike McCarthy was talking about? We got us another super chat. He said, what's good, boss? Showing some love. Great content, man. Appreciate that, bro. I appreciate the 2 bones, big dog. But remember, they was talking about all that nervous energy. Like, let's just think about it. That was a young team. You got a young Dallas Cowboys team. We not like Philly, who acquired all their talent. They got vets. They got all these boys who got what Steven would say, skins on the wall. We ain't got a bunch of guys with skins on the wall. So yeah, you got a young team and they first time getting ready to have major war. Yeah, they was tripping likely. And that's what Mike McCarthy was talking about. Are we gonna use that as an excuse? No. But we still go have to look at it for what it is. I know I want my 14-year-old to be grown right now, but now he gotta grow up. It's just what it is. Now we growing up. That's the bigger point. We growing up. Blackwell said this means Kellen is also growing up. I think a big thing he needs to learn It's how to ride the hot hand. True. Because that is true. To the degree he is growing up as well, he's been forced to grow up this year. He was treated. See, Kellen Blackwell, Kellen last year was treated like he was the adult, and Mike McCarthy was treated like the child. Kellen Moore was raising Mike McCarthy. It's flipped this year. And we're going to talk about that because obviously that's one of the biggest points going into this playoff game versus last year's playoff game. But I'm also pointing to this bigger point, and appreciate the super chat, big dog, is that the discipline is clearly better. Okay? That's the overall big point. We not this year number one in penalties. We was number one in penalties all last year. So that's good to know as we trying to assess our chances against Tampa. This is why I'm willing to bet any Cowboy fan that we getting ready to beat Tampa. I could literally stop at these first 2 points. that we're targeting our stars better and that our discipline is better. But I'm not. I got some more points. This is an important one. The defense is top where it counts. It's still top where it counts. What you talking about, boss? All right, here we go. So when you look at something called turnover, I gotta say it right, god dog. When you look at our turnover differential, okay? When you look at our turnover differential, you'll see that we are pretty much in terms of takeaways exactly where we were last year. So even though you're not hearing about our defense as much, you're not hearing about the sacks as much because our sacks did take a major downturn. Got another super chat. Let me take the super chat real quick. Let me take the super chat. Big homie said, please do a show on Jerry's Pause and Peel. It's where he demands the new coach take on an existing. Oh man, you must be new. I can tell you new, bro. He said, please do a show on Jerry's Pause and Peel. It's where he demands the new coach take on an existing OC or DC before he gets the job. It always, bro, honestly, I've done about 15 shows on that. Probably more, just being honest. So, no, I've done plenty of content, and that's what we always been talking about, that Mike McCarthy was under a power dynamic and a dilemma. We've always been strongly against that, but I appreciate it. And I go pull it up for you in a minute, bro. I go tell you the exact shows I did, because I promise you about 15 shows about that. But if you look at our turnover differential, all right, the turnover differential is the difference between takeaways. Y'all hear me out. God dog. Hear me out on this, okay? Just hear me out. Let's all have a seat. Listen. It's the difference between your takeaways and giveaways. That's how you come up with the turnover differential. It's the difference between the two. Takeaways minus giveaways. Okay? So you'll see we had 33 takeaways. And I'm going to explain what it is. We had 23 giveaways. So our turnover differential is plus 10. 33 minus 23 is plus 10. This year we're the second highest in the league on turnover in this category, okay? This is important because this is one of the most important predictors of wins and losses. This one right here, the turnover differential. In 2021, we was number one with plus 14. Okay. But this year we're number two. And so let's explain this real quick. See, takeaways They don't. If you ever try to look this stuff up, they always explain it bad. All right. I'm gonna break this all the way down. Turnover differential. All right. So takeaways is basically your offense giving up the ball. Just think of it that simple. It's when your offense, see, it don't even make sense for them to call it takeaways because it make it confusing. But that's what it is. The takeaways is when your offense gives up the ball. Interceptions, fumbles, all of that, that's all under takeaways. Giveaways is when your defense get the ball. That's the difference. So you can see what they're measuring. They're measuring your offense mixed with your defense, and they looking at y'all together as a family to determine where your offense is good, but they're giving up the ball, but your defense is also taking away the ball. Let's subtract the two, sum those up, and whoever has the highest has the best turnover differential. That's what it's called. The sad news, I got to be honest with y'all, because I measured this Koolaid. This is the problem, though, with Dallas. And I'm just being all the way honest. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The problem with Dallas is both years we led the league, and most people not talking about this. You hardly hear anybody talking about this. Okay? Both years Dallas led the league in takeaways, which mean they gave up the ball the most. Both years. One year, one would probably be able to say it was on Dak. Especially people that's very surface and childish in their analysis, or blamey, the blamey types where they looking to blame. They'll say the turnover was so high because of Dak. But see, we looked into all of that, so we already know that that's phony, that's fake, right? That's fake news. Let me get my button on that. Let me hit that fake news button.
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen.
It's fake. But when you see 2 years in a row of being number one in turnovers, that should speak to something. Especially when the whole thing that we've been hearing, especially with Kellen Moore, is how he is genius and that his systems is his system versus other systems. But when we look at your genius systems, 2 years in a row, your system leads the league in turnovers. Your system. So, but like I said, it's also about looking at the analysis right and measured, not just looking at the flat number. To me, we got to look at it in context of what we do. So if you look at our turnovers in context of what we do, you might give our offense a little bit of grace on its turnovers. Okay? And see, I got to explain this, and then I'm going to take some calls. I'm going to take a break and take some calls. But I really want to explain this because this is important. So when you look at the fact that 2 years in a row, we was number one in turnovers, both years, right? And we know from obviously being students and paying attention here at Boss Cowboy Sports, we know that at least 3 of those interceptions that happened this year was a direct result of option routes. Not Dak. Not even his weapons. Hold on real quick. Yeah, hold on real quick. Mickey with the super chat. She said, "Boss, we took the ball away the most, not giving it up." Yeah. No, we... See, because this is the thing. When you see takeaways, it sounds like I'm saying our defense didn't take it away. Takeaways, when you're looking at it from the turnover differential, that's actually dealing with your offense. I just hate that they use the term takeaway because it sounds confusing. Yeah. So when I say takeaway, I'm talking about this number here. So you can see we had 33 takeaways, but that's literally saying our offense turned over the ball 33 times. It just sounds crazy. So when you hear takeaways, you gotta flip it in your head, like it's saying the opposite. So we had 33 turnovers. That's what it should. It should say turnovers. It should say turnovers minus giveaways. That's what it should say. No, I'm right on this. No. Takeaways is the offense. I'm certain on this. Yeah, takeaways, you're right. Takeaways is a defensive term. That's why I'm saying this. That's why I said I need to explain this. This turnover differential can be confusing. That's why I'm really trying to explain it, right? Because if you look at the terms takeaways and giveaways, right? So they saying the other team's offense gave it away. They saying the other team's defense took it away from you. That's what it's saying. So that's when you see 33. Yeah, when you see 33. Yeah, when you see 33. Oh man, I might be getting that back. What? Let me see. But anyway, this the deal. This the main point though. We are top in this differential, in this scenario, which is one of the things that definitely leads to, like likely if you're going to win or not. And so this is the good news, is that we're top again because of our defense. That's the most important. That's the most important thing, is that we're top again because of that defense. And you know what? Let me see. Yeah, but anyway. Yeah, we're top again because of that defense. So when you look at the fact that our defense is performing just as good as it was last year, the defense is good where it counts. So we go take some calls real quick, and then I'm going to get into the other reasons which are just as important or more important as why we likely getting ready to have a much better turnover. We getting ready to have, I might have got that backwards, y'all. Forgive me on that. If I did, then just ignore that. I'll go back, I'll clean it up. So I'm gonna take some calls real quick, and then we'll go through the other reasons. I might have just got that backwards, y'all. Forgive me on that. All right, hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me open up these call lines. So I got the call lines open. All right, yeah. So yeah, we got the call lines open. I'm gonna go ahead and get started real quick. And then once y'all call in, I'll stop. But here we go. This is the key part though. Going into 20 and 2022. All right, that's different, that we gotta account for. This is the key part. All right. So the key part is what's different going into 2022. The first one is the weapons. Much different. All right. And so we still got the call lines open. So if y'all call in, cool. If you don't, then I'll just keep going. But this is the difference. So in 2021, hold on real quick. We got us a call. Boss Cowboy Sports.
What's up, fam?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Ain't nothing, man. Yeah, man. Big thing. First, you did get that backwards, boss. Takeaways, we taking the ball away. So we led the league in taking the ball away, and we had 23 turnovers this year. But
My bad.
main thing I want.
My bad.
Main thing. Nah, you good, bro. You good. Main thing I wanted to call, man, our defense, man. I got a feeling, man, when Hankins coming back and LVE, man, that's going to stop that run game.
Yeah.
Because Tampa's going to try to run that ball because Fournette had over 100 yards that first game. So we locked that up, man. And I say Diggs need to follow Evans, man. That's how I feel about it, man. But much love to you, bro. Love your content, man. Love everything you do, man. I'm going to listen to you respond to that. Peace.
Man, I appreciate it. And yeah, and I did have it backwards, man. Yeah, it's our takeaways versus our giveaways. My bad. But we lead the league in that again. So we had 34 takeaways. Thank y'all for that. I appreciate it. 34 takeaways, and we gave the ball away 20 times. So we are still top in the league in terms of our takeaways versus our giveaways. So my fault on that. But the good thing is this. And what messed me up on that is that they only look at offense on StatMuse. That's why I thought it was our offense. My fault on that. Boss Cowboy Sports.
Boss,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, man, listen. All the time I've been watching you since you started, you've never really been wrong, but on this one you was. It's no big deal, though.
Yeah.
The takeaways, giveaways. But listen, boss, have you heard who's going to be on the opposite? I mean, if Diggs takes, what's his face, who's going to be on the other side, or do you know?
No, nobody knows. And Dan Quinn actually made that a mystery. Like, we not going to know until they lined up. Now, they are hinting, and you hearing a lot of buzz that it could be Xavier Rhodes.
Okay. All right, boss. Hey, thanks. Nobody was calling in, so I figured I had to at least do it. All right. Hey, thanks, boss.
Ain't no
we'll be
problem.
listening. You're doing amazing. Keep it up. We're so thankful you came on today.
Thank
at least
you.
I was. I was sitting there looking all day. Actually, last couple of days, just looking to see if I could catch you. All right. Thanks, boss.
Okay. Yeah, and now they saying Rhodes gonna be opposite. I haven't heard any reports that Rhodes is gonna be opposite. So if y'all heard that, let me know what the source is so I can double check on that. And then yeah, I get that. And I clarify on that. But from the last thing that I heard is that Dan Quinn didn't put out who that guy was going to be, So, and yeah, and I'm definitely want to talk about this today because I feel like a lot of people are nervous for nothing, like real afraid, like over Tampa, and it's like we shouldn't be afraid of Tampa. Like, it's no reason, in my opinion. Oh, say just my prediction. Okay, yeah, it's no reason to be afraid of Tampa. It's like, no. Now, what I'm getting ready to talk to, I'm being honest when I say this, is that our weapons in 2021, they were better. It was clearly better. All right. So when you look at our weapons, right, we had CeeDee Lamb as the number 2. Michael Gallup, prior his ACL injury. Noah Brown was like our 4th or 5th receiver, hardly used. Nobody cared. Well, no, yeah. And we had Cedric, obviously. Cedric, to me, was a much better fit for Dak because he was a route runner, right? And then you had, obviously, Amari Cooper. So then when you look at us this year, okay, and you look at the weapons from 2022, now CeeDee Lamb has become your number 1. Okay. Now we got Michael Gallup, except it's after his ACL. Noah Brown has now become like the number 3. Occasionally he was being used almost like a number 2 in terms of his targets. Yeah, you can still call in Black. It's still open. And then Now we acquired T.Y. Hilton late. So our weapons was clearly better last year going into the playoffs. But yet, this is the key point. We still a top 2 offense with Dak. So we got less weapons, but the offense is still top. That leads to one thing. One I already talked about. One is the fact that I already talked about this, that we're targeting our stars better. All right, that's one. Two, and this is the big one that a lot of people not gonna say. Dak is better. That's the key one, because that's the only way you can lose so much and still yet be very, very, very good on offense when he plays. We got a super chat. He said, not looking too far ahead, but after we beat Tampa, what do you think the keys to beating San Fran are? I think you got to stop McCaffrey. Yeah, I'll talk about that. Boss, what is the call-in number so that you don't forget about? Yeah, I'm not going to forget about him. I add him. I just need to slow down once I take a call. All right, hold on. Boss Cowboy Sports.
Hey, good evening, boss. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's up? Who is this?
Hey, yeah, man. This is Alpha Donaldson from Pleasant Grove.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Man, I'm just chilling, watching football all day, just loving it, man. But one thing I just wanted to ask you, or rather just have a quick discussion with you about what I'm noticing from the number of games that we've seen on today and yesterday. Play action and crossing routes are working this year. And apparently the interception is not a problem for teams staying competitive and staying in the games. How do you feel about Kellen being creative with his passing routes on tomorrow night?
Kellen
Moore.
Oh,
how you feel about Kellen Moore and being creative with his crossing routes tomorrow night?
He likely not go do that, to be honest. He likely not go be creative, to be honest. We go be what we are on that. We go be an option route system, and we go win and lose based on that. Okay. That's exactly what I think is getting ready to happen.
Well, I'm seeing what's working and watching that Minnesota-New York game. I mean, basically, the game was won off of crossing routes. Not a lot of stuff going on vertically, but just a lot of mesh stuff and trying to tactfully get guys open. And I know that Kellen has had his struggles with that type of passing attack. I know a lot of things we do is timing-based and things of that nature, but you know, we just really need Kellen in his bag tomorrow night, bringing something to the table that they have not seen, right? So,
yeah,
you know, that's all I'm concerned about. And at the end of the day, I think McCarthy's done a great job. But if our main guys don't get the touches, I'll be damned if they're gonna try to get McCarthy to be the one to be to blame when Kellen Moore is the one who got to go.
Yeah, nah, it's gonna be. I don't even want to talk about blame yet. I want to get past this game, but in terms of the offense, and I think it's already pretty much understood that it's heat on Kellen, and it should be. It should be. Yeah, it's heat on Kellen, and it should be, and that's what that going back to. I got that backwards, but going back to the giveaways. When you look at our giveaways and you say, man, y'all boys had 23 giveaways, right, this year, right? One of the highest, right? And you look at a lot of that was based on drops and based on your option routes. you would have a +3 differential if you even had a better system. So it's so much that's pointing to him. You know, it's a lot that's pointing to him. But the advantages of the option routes is this: you can anticipate and you can beat zones way before they able to adapt to it. That's one of the reasons why I believe Dak went 24 for 24 on Philly. It was because he was able to anticipate it, hit it before they was able to adapt to it. But the problem is this to me. This is the biggest problem. When Kellen Moore goes against real defensive coordinators like Todd Bowles, they seem to know how to trick him post snap, which gives his system problems. That's my concern.
True. Well, all I know is, just what I've been seeing out there during the playoffs and what's been kind of working. I mean, I know that what works for one team may not work for our team, but, the play action I think is definitely important on tomorrow night. And, I'm just really looking to see Kellen really do something creative and do something on offense, because I'm really not trying to see a repeat from last year.
Right now,
really not trying to see a repeat.
I think the main thing,
because if we're gonna go down, we're gonna go down fighting.
Yeah.
And the effort that we want to see on the field tomorrow night, we want to see our stars getting the ball, and we want to see them just going down fighting.
Right.
And that's all I want to see. I mean, just like I told you the other night, I'm riding it out with my boys regardless. But I want to see my stars, out there slugging it out. If they're not getting that opportunity, I'm sorry, I'm calling for Kellen's head. So,
yeah,
it just is what it is.
Man, that is what it is. Man, I appreciate the call, big dog.
Yeah, but he's the golden boy. But look, boss man, you keep doing what you're doing, man. God bless you, and I'll keep listening and watching, my brother.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
All right, take care now.
All right, so this is the deal with that offense. It's to me, and shout out to, I saw my boy West Coast in the building. What's up, Wes? I think he said he just touched down to Tampa, man. What's up, man? He said targeting the stars is the biggest thing that Kellen Moore can do right now. It's super hard to change your offensive system overnight. I really wish he could, but I doubt that he can. It's just, that's too big of a switch to try to do at the last minute to try to make us like other offenses. But the most important thing within his offense is proving that it's an ability to target the stars. So as long as he's focused and he's featuring his star guys, we will just have to live with those option routes. But it is something that's scary, because when you go against like Todd Bowles, his type, and they know that it's a system-based offense that we run, they go try to muck up the waters to confuse your weapons and your quarterback. Boss Cowboy Sports.
Hey, Boss Cowboy. I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like Kellen Moore was just holding back on this whole last game against Washington and like not wanting to show his full deck of cards? Or do you think that Dak throwing to the same wide receiver twice on the same side was on Dak or Kellen Moore? Because I'm leaning more towards Kellen Moore.
Okay, let me answer that question about Kellen. You got any more questions that I address before I get back into the content?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
All right. So, see, that's a good question, right? When you look at, and I said this, I was talking to West Coast on the phone, and I said Dak, in my opinion, can get complacent, right? And at first he was like, Nah, bro. Nah, Dak ain't complacent. I said, in ways, I think he can get complacent. I moved on from the point, but now I get a chance to explain it even more. So, one thing about Dak is Dak, especially in his younger days, Dak used to take a lot of chances at training camp. Right. So he would, throw interceptions and he would take chances with the ball. And then he would come out in the game and he would perform and have clean games. And I started noticing a pattern with Dak. I started noticing that whenever we got ahead, it would seem that Dak would then take chances with the football. Like he would try to fit stuff in there that didn't fit, but he was testing it. And that's what I meant by complacent. So in that game, I think it was some complacency with Dak, especially he was doing stuff that was just bad judgment, and it was almost as if he was just trying to see if he could get away with it. Cause I've never seen him throw a fade twice in a row. Like I've never seen that. I've never seen him do that. And then to that play that he was talking about where he threw that pick for an interception, to be honest, that cornerback did a real good job of reading Dak's feet. He read what's called his 3-step. And that's why he broke on that route even before the receiver came out his break, because he was reading the drop of the quarterback. And when he was reading that drop, he broke on it and he made a good play. But the fact that we ran that play back to back could have been an option route, or it could have been a timed route to where he was going to try to time that out and try to throw it before he come out his break. I don't really know if it was an option route mistake or if it was just bad judgment by Dak. But this is the thing, and the most important thing is this. This is the most important thing I'm going to say about Dak, especially coming out of the Washington game. The most important thing I'm going to say is Dak and the Cowboys play their best when our backs are against the wall and when we disrespect it. Those are the two times to where you see us come out and we gangbusters. That's a long history now, especially with Dak. I saw it its best with Dak when he was a rookie. Because a lot of people forgot when Dak won 11 games straight as a rookie, it was still a large amount of people that wanted to reinsert Romo. Even down to the end of the season, it was a whole lot of people that was just wanting Dak to lose so that they could reinsert Romo back for the playoffs. Partially, one of those people seemed to be Jerry Jones. I don't know if y'all remember, but it was around week 16, week 15. It was something like that, right? And Jerry came out and he had one of the most morbid, weird statements. He said, well, I'm not saying I would want this to happen, but wouldn't it be something if some kind of way Romo got back in the game and led us to a Super Bowl? Obviously, something would have to happen to Dak in order for that to happen, but wouldn't that be something? And he said that going into like week 15 after your quarterback won 11 straight. And that was the first time everybody spoke out against Jerry. Steven spoke out. All the quarterbacks spoke out. Aikman, Staubach, all of them was like, I don't know what that was, but not the time to say that while you're going into the playoffs. Not the time to say that. And Dak responded with a completion percentage of 89% versus Tampa. Then he followed up with a completion percentage of 93% versus Detroit. And Detroit needed to win to have a chance for the playoffs. So when I look at how Dak responds, like remember what happened when they called when Shady came out talking about Dak is ass. Yeah. See, the next game was Philly. And he paid for it. He paid for it. So when I look at how we getting ready to play Tampa, and we going into Tampa with all this disrespect to Dak and the Cowboys, it just history says what we getting ready to do. You likely getting ready to see almost a perfect game from Dak. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He go light it up. He go run it up. Like history says, Dak is getting ready to run it up.
Run it up, run it up.
You can almost count that because it's the pattern. Like, but see, a lot of us as fans, I'm just being all the way honest. We kind of ride the wave of wins and losses. We ride the wave of wins and losses. That's what we do. So if we lose, oh, the world is over with. We kind of gotta, in my opinion, learn how to look ahead. So that's why Emp said one of the wisest things. He said, bro, we likely needed this L right before we play Tampa. Because he was looking ahead of the wave. He wasn't riding the wave. He was looking at the wave. Because it's like, if you know us, we roll down and we bounce up. So he was like, based on how we are, we likely getting ready to bounce up. But most Cowboy fans got stuck in the emotions of being here, but not what we usually do after. Prime example. Perfect example. How many people thought the season was over after the Tampa loss? Come on now. I know we gonna stick our chests out right now. I know we gonna stick our chests out. We gonna be like, no, I always had faith. No, you likely didn't. Because see, I remember what happened. Me and Jay Tuck was having a conversation of how the ticket sales went down by over 73%. That means the majority of Cowboy fans after game one quit. Ran away like the road runner. Ran away.
Oh, hell no.
Was gone. Huh? Think about it. How did we respond? Your quarterback has a broke thumb. You got to go with Cooper Rush, and you got to play the two teams that was just in the Super Bowl, Cincinnati and the Rams, with a back arm, noodle arm quarterback. What did we do? Boop. It's just what it is. We got embarrassed in Green Bay. Embarrassed. That was embarrassing. You had them by 14 points. Mike McCarthy came out with a trench coat like he was Lombardi. All that theatrics had them beat. Let them come back being stupid. Threw the ball 13 times in the fourth quarter. Just crazy. Crazy. With a 14-point lead. Crazy. What happened? The next game. Minnesota. It was the wave. So I'm getting ahead of the wave. I'm not behind the wave. I'm ahead of it. Boss Cowboy Sports.
What's up, boss? This is Blackwell.
What's up, Black?
Ain't nothing. Hey, I just want to say something to everybody, man. Our fans need to get our energy right, bro.
Right.
For real, man. This playoff time.
Right.
Too many people sounding a little down. They ain't sounding too confident. None of that, man. We about to go in here and beat these boys, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look, I'm like, I just need Kellen, you know what I'm saying, to tweak his game plan a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? We done tried passing against these boys 40 times in the last 2 times we played them.
Right.
He needs to pound that rock. You know what I'm saying? And the history of them both, another thing that the history of both of them games, Zeke was on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Both
He
games.
need to feed that running game, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's all I have to show for real, man. Hey, man, y'all get y'all energy right, man. It's playoff time, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Stop talking so down, man.
Right. It's a funeral.
Yeah, I'm out, boss.
It's a funeral around here, bro, man. Talk that talk, Black.
Real shit, bro. Like, man, they need to get their energy right, man.
Bro, like you can, dog. We so scared right now, bro.
Man, hey, look, everybody sounding scared. They calling in sounding scared, man. We got these boys, man.
Yeah.
Man, look, they sitting up here, they talking all that crap, bro. They talking so much junk to us. I don't even know why they getting us. Look, we play down to our competition, but don't nobody talk about how we play up to our competition either. You know what I'm saying, man? Get y'all mind right, man. We ready to beat these boys' ass, man.
Let's go, dog. Let's go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Hey, I'm out, bro.
All right, Black. That was Black. And then Montana with the super chat, he said, boss, I'm hearing it's 70-30 Dallas fans in Tampa. I already know, man. Listen, yeah, bro. Listen. And see, Amp low-key done saved y'all from Petty Tuesday. And I want to really get y'all thoughts on this before I say this. I want to get y'all thoughts on this. Amp hit me up. He said, boss, I know you go do Petty Tuesday after we win. I know you go do Petty Tuesday. He said, but boss, he said, you might not want to flame them too bad. And I was listening. I was like, listen, in real life, I was like, what? No, I'm finna flame these dudes. But then Amp talked to him. He was like, boss, you got to realize you actually went through the championship era. He said, we got a lot of young new fans. He said the only thing they know is the Romo era or Quincy Carter era, or they know the era of the 18 quarterbacks before Romo. They know. They was born into losing. You was born into losing, then y'all became a winner, and you experienced the lows and the highs and the lows. And now you're trying to fight back to get it back to the highs. I was like, ooh.
Dracarys.
I was like, I can't. Yeah, James. Some of these dudes, they go get it. Like, some of these dudes, you right. Some of these dudes ain't getting no mercy. He said, no, boss, flame that dude that talk crap to you. Yeah, some of them dudes, they getting it. But some of y'all, I'm going to let y'all know. Some of y'all, I'm going to let y'all make it. Some of y'all, I'm going to let some of y'all make it. But some of y'all, I promise y'all, ooh, I'm going to be so evil. Some of y'all talked about my sweet mama. You don't think I'm going to get you for that? I'm going to get you for that. I'm going to get for you. I'm going to teach some of y'all how to be fans. But Amp made me think. I was like, you know what? It's a lot of our fans don't have no idea what it's like to experience what we getting ready to experience. See, I know this feeling. I know the feeling of nervous for your team. I know the feeling of what is the future. I know the feeling of we got to get over this hump and this hurdle to have a chance and to see us do it. Some people have no idea what that feel like. I experienced it in football and basketball. I remember my boy Dirk having to go through Steve Nash when he was the MVP, and to go through Tim Duncan, and to go through the Lakers, and to go through Oklahoma when they was the young phenom superstars, where it was Westbrook, Durant, and what's my boy? Harden. All them boys on one team, and here come my Mavs, my Mavericks, and LeBron. I'm like, yeah, and see, I know what it is to feel like we facing a giant. But listen, y'all, Tom Brady is not no giant, dog. He's a man. He's 45. Yes, he can get magical. Yes, he can. But we can too. And just some people have not experienced it yet. Let me take another call. But once you experience it, don't ever go back to these old. You listen, matter of fact, I don't even want you to have to experience it. Just don't be whack. Believe now. Boss Cowboy Sports.
What's up, dog?
What's going on?
No, but chilling, man. How you feeling?
Man, I'm chilling on it.
Hey, man. I just want these fans to chill out, man. Because it's like, when do Dallas lose the first round? If they go to the wild card, they usually win it.
Yeah. Right. Thank you, bro. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yes.
And everybody like, oh, bro, they wearing them hot boy chains. They feeling thuggish. I'm like, bro, I don't care about none of that. I'm just tired of people talking. They need to go out there and make them boys quit like they did L.A.
Right.
You know, just make them quit. They doing all that talking. Punch them in the mouth. Beat them up real quick. Make them change their mind.
Yes. Yeah.
You know?
Right. Right.
I don't really got much. Appreciate you having me, man. Have a good night.
You too, bro. I appreciate it. See, I like how today, boys calling in with their chests out. I love it. Boys coming in with that say.
Dracarys.
Yoga rain. Boys coming in with that punch in the mouth.
Yoga fire. Yoga fire. Yoga.
And I love it. Cause see, that type of person is gonna enjoy this moment. And see, I'm gonna enjoy this moment. We getting ready to have some fun. Cause because yes, Washington, they threw cold water on the momentum. But all you gotta do is win this game and you done turned the heat back up on the whole league. Yeah. And I'm giving you all these reasons why I think we are. All right, so here we are. I ain't taking no more calls. I ain't gonna never get through this content. But I'll take some more calls at the end. We ain't doing nothing. We chilling. All right. So those are the key points. So I was talking about the weapons. So I'm gonna go through this next part fast so that way we can take some more calls. But check this out. So Dak is better, especially when you go look at his weapons, right? When you look at him having less weapons than what he had last year, he's the common denominator of the top-ranked offense. He's the reason why that offense is still at the top when he plays. It's him. It's clearly him, right? So we already showed this 1,000 times. This is not all the way accurate because it's only week 7 through 11, but it still shows you the point that with Cooper Rush, for the most part, the offense was ranked bottom almost in every category. But with Dak, the offense shoots all the way up to the top. So now you got an angry Dak getting ready to come. Like literally, like an angry Dak. They've been hating on him again. I already talked about his history of him playing lights out when the world is against him. See, he's not somebody that folds to pressure. He's somebody that responds to pressure. It's just, if you don't know that about Dak by now, I don't know who you've been watching. Like, it's only one playoff out the 4 to where you can say he played average to bad. And that was this last game versus San Fran. But versus Green Bay, he balled out, had a better passing rating than Aaron Rodgers, led them to a comeback, almost pulled it out until Aaron had that miracle throw. Yeah, that's your quarterback. Playoff game 2, outdueled Russell Wilson when people was calling him MVP. Playoff game 3, he outdueled Goff, the number 1 overall pick in his draft class. Yeah. So that's who you got as your quarterback. So another reason we better going into this year than last year. The trenches are better. Remember I showed y'all my boy bring this out. Listen.
And they converted easily.
Hold on. Let me rewind this. I hate this, but this is true.
Hold up. Jason Kelsey just told the whole Cowboys D-line, you know what's coming, and they converted easily. Look.
All right. And so that did happen. That's true. That's true what he said. When we played Philly, game 1, Kelsey walked up to our D-line on 3rd and short and said, you know we were getting ready to do. And they did it. Yeah, when QB sneak right in our face, we couldn't do nothing about it. That's exactly what happened. It's a fact. So, Dallas, what they did, they said, okay, cool. All right. And see, they went and got somebody to counter that. So when you go look at us in 2021 and you look at our interior and you look at us going into 2022 playoffs, are we better in that middle? Hell yeah, we better in that middle. For a couple of other reasons. Think about it. Was Quentin Bohanna playing as good as he playing this year? Huh? Yeah. So now you got a year 2 Quentin Bohanna. And year 2 Quentin Bohanna is playing much better than year 1 Quentin Bohanna. You didn't have year 2 Quentin Bohanna, and you sure didn't have Hankins, who fresh right now. See, Gallimore, see, we got tricked last year. Can I be honest? We got tricked. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, see, we got real excited because when he was injured, he left out a 3-tech. He came back a 1-tech. Had him one real good game versus the Washington Commanders. He exploded, and then he disappeared. But see, this year is different. See, we not just going into the playoffs with hope of this experiment working, this 1-tech experiment. See, we had a 1-tech experiment last year. That was Gallimore. Yeah, he was a 1-tech experiment. But see, now we know what he is, but we got some back around him too. So when you look at how we going into the 2022 playoffs, yes, it's true that our receivers are not the same. That's true. Our talent is not the same, but I already pointed out that has been equaled out with the improvement of Dak. But if you saying that we going into this playoffs with the same trench talent as what we had last year, that is a damn lie. We better. We are better going into 2022 playoffs than we was 2021. Straight up. All right. And then I'm going to tell you where we really got better. And this is underrated by a lot. You know where we really got better? Ain't most people talking about this at all. Cross training is now embraced in Dallas. It wasn't embraced last year. And it hurt us last year. Cross training our offensive line. Yeah, y'all remember I had a couple of fights. I fought y'all over this. I remember I fought almost the whole chat over saying that, man, we need to cross train these guys. Because see, cross training in Dallas was unheard of. Having players ready to play multiple positions. That was unheard of with the Garrett era. Oh, special teams. Oh, yeah. Oh, don't get me started on special teams. Oh, yeah. Special teams way better. Way better. But this cross training, let me go back to this cross training. See, this cross training? See, cross training is now embraced. And it has low-key made us way better. See, because I remember last year. I ain't forgot how Lyle was playing right tackle. And it was a sin It was an outright sin to even put out an idea of him playing anything other than right tackle. Oh, it was a sin. It was warfare. It was people upset at you. It was people go insult you for that. They was go call you Madden. They was go take cheap shots at you. They was go talk slick. They was go make videos about you. They go tweet about you. They was go shame you. This is all true too. Yeah, yeah. So if you was loyal and you was trying to not switch up by putting ideas out there.
If we locked in, switching up.
See, if you was locked in last year and you was committed to try to put good ideas out, it got used against you.
If we locked in, switching up.
But see, this year it's different. See, last year, if you said, hey, maybe we need to consider moving Lyle to left guard because Steele is balling. Yeah, because Steele is balling. See, nah. You know what we did? We went out there and put the wrong right tackle on the field. And it hurt our chances in the playoffs. It did. So now this year, everybody get it. Everybody get it this year. Everybody get it. Oh man, ever since we lost Steele, we haven't been able to run the same. That was the fact last year. But this year, the fans are smarter and the organization is smarter. The organization now is doing stuff they have never done. Dog, we talking about T. Smith able to play left side and right side. We talking about James Peters cross train, and we doing this with our Hall of Famers. We got this dude practicing and ready to play left tackle if need be, left guard if need be, right tackle if need be. We was not doing that in 2021. So just think about it. What happened to Steele when they first just threw him out there at left tackle? What happened? I remember. Yeah, it was womp. Ooh, wait. It was womp. It was boo and boo. See, but this year we're smarter. We're smarter. See, this is also why I said you got to be watchful for these stats. See, because if you remember, I've been telling you they've been preaching that doctrine that we need to throw it more on first down, right? And then they'll come out and say, well, in the last 5 games, the Cowboys have only averaged 3.1 yards on first down. And so if you're intimidated by numbers, you'll let them bully you into connecting dots that don't connect. But if you think it through and ask a couple of more questions, it'll have you understanding that it's not as big of a panic as they trying to make it out to be. First of all, first question, if you're trying to decide, is it worth it to run on first down at the percentage we've been running? You would have to ask yourself the question, are the opponents that we going against better at stopping the run? Number one, have there been any changes to the offensive line within that 5 games that y'all measuring that could have disrupted chemistry? And the answer to both of those was yes. Our opponents were stronger the last 5 games, and we had a lot of movement on that offensive line, including our center. And thank God we was cross training, because when our center went down, we was ready at an instant because of cross training. McGovern, boop, moved right over the center. And amazingly, Tyler Smith, boop, moved right over to left guard. Mid-game. See, you couldn't do that if you wasn't prepared for it, if you wasn't cross-training for it. So remember I talked about that the Cowboys, I did a show where I said the Cowboys and the fans need to divorce that old thinking on offensive line. See, because now when you have young stud tackles, you don't have to cross-train as much. So when Tyler Smith officially takes over, and when Terrence Steele get his contract, and they young tackles, you don't have to aggressively, and then you'll have likely Matt Lewesko and Ball as young swing talents that's developing. So when your team is like that, you don't have to worry about cross training as much, because you got depth and young starters. But when your tackles was potentially an aging, injury prone guys, cross training was absolutely necessary. And that's exactly what we're doing going into 2022. So this lets us know this. We're not only playoff ready on that offensive line. Hear me out. We not only playoff ready on that offensive line, we emergency ready on that offensive line. It's not even just playoff ready. It's emergency ready. So a whole lot can start going wrong, and we won't just go to hell. And James, my boy James says, I say no to Ball right now. Yeah, right now we can say no to Ball right now. But in a year, in 2 years, we might be saying hell yeah to Ball. Or, well, let's go. That's very realistic. You know what I mean? Just keeping it real. Because this was the first time Ball was thrown out there. You see what I'm saying? So, same thing with Steele. Like Steele, when he first was thrown out there, he was womp. Just keeping it real. He was. But he developed. So that I'm saying, this year was the perfect time for us to embrace it, and we did. And it got us ready for the playoffs. That's good news. Now, and this is what a lot of people are not talking about. Now, this next point that I'm getting ready to make is the most important point that I'm getting ready to make. This next point is the most important point of how we're different going into this year playoff. This next point is the most important point out of all the points I've said so far. And the next point is this. I've said this. I've spent my most time on this whole offseason. This is what I said was the most important thing going into the season. And it still is as we're going into the playoffs. The most important thing that have us better as we're getting ready to go into the playoffs, from this playoff run, then the last playoff run, is Mike McCarthy putting a leash on Kellen Moore. That is the most important thing going on right now. That is the most important thing that could potentially shield us from a meltdown, is Kellen Moore on a quota. That's the most important. And a lot of people sadly don't understand that. They don't understand that Kellen Moore is truly on a quota. So they'll send you data and say, boss, what are you talking about? We're balanced, boss. I said, all right. See, when you're looking at it macro like that, big picture, that's the macro. When you're looking at the big picture like that, you can miss the micro details that lead to the macro number. So when you understand that he on a quota, what you start seeing the pattern in his play calling. That's why you got to look and break him down micro, meaning you got to look at his play by play, and that's how you will see it. Because you can't see it if you look at the big picture. You'll say, boss, he's balanced, boss. You're just being negative, boss. Boss, you're just being negative. But then when you go look at the micro, and you'll start seeing the patterns that whenever he gets pass happy, he tries to catch up by then getting run dominant. And so that's why people were scratching their head is, why did Kellen Moore run the ball 9 times in a row versus Philly? It was because of that quota. Yeah. And Mike McCarthy got that leash on his neck. Like, hey, you out of whack. Get back in line. And so you'll start seeing Kellen Moore being very, 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 very run dominant. So then at the end, it'll add up and it'll look like it's balanced. But when you look at the floor of the game, you'll see that it was unbalanced and out of whack. And it was a game that was managed on quota. But see, I already said this before. I'll take quota booty all day. If it's the choice of quota booty or no booty. An example, I was talking about if you was married and you and your wife wasn't being intimate with each other, and the counselor said, hey, we got to get y'all back on track. We got to get y'all back on track. Y'all have to have sex every Tuesday and Saturday. Because right now, y'all about once a month and it ain't going to work. Well, if you the one that ain't getting that booty like Mike McCarthy, you'll take it. If this the only power I got is to make sure this man is not being too pass happy, I'll take it. I'll take the quota booty. Quota booty better than no booty. Quota Kellen Moore versus crackhead Kellen Moore, I'll take it. Now, would I want him to be balanced through every series? Yeah. But would I take a one-dimensional quota booty Kellen Moore? Well, if that's the best I can get to win, yep. I'll take it. So this is the proof. This is 2021. And this is what a lot of people miss. This is what a lot of people miss. This part right here. Listen.
Consider you being the play caller and being more hands-on in how that's run.
I don't think that's the best way to run an offense. I've told you the first day I was standing here, whoever calls the offense will install it. You know?
That was 2021 Mike McCarthy. Let me rewind it. Because it's a difference.
Consider you being the play caller and being more.
Because he asked him, would you consider being a play caller? Listen.
Hands-on in how that's run.
I don't think that's the best way to run an offense. I've told you the first day I was standing here, whoever calls the offense will install it. You know, it's important for the player, and it's the way I've always done it. It's important for the play caller. It's the way I've always done it, that every call on that play sheet he has to believe in, because you won't call it. You know, I've worked for some defensive head coaches that once in a while would have a great idea, and you know, he's your boss, so you put it in the plan, and I'd run it in the first 2 plays just to get it off the goddamn call sheet. So I mean,
the sad thing is that's what's likely going on with him right now. That's the sad thing. I want y'all to think about that. See, what he sowed, he's reaping. See, he had a defensive coordinator that was his head coach. that he didn't believe in the vision of the offense that the defensive coordinator wanted to run. And he admitted, as a young OC like Kellen, that he would just call it, or what we call in quota, just to get it off the damn call sheet. That's why his philosophy is, I need y'all to believe in this. And if you call it, you go install it. It's going to be yours, because I need you to have a conviction about your play calls. I don't want you doing it because of me. That was 2021. But that was also letting it be known that Kellen had all power over the offense last year. Not some power, all power. All power. So did Dan Quinn, and so did Fossil. I'm giving you the truth. See, this is 2021 though, going into the playoffs. Going into that playoff game versus San Fran, it was no quote on Kellen. So when he decided not to target Pollard, it was no repercussions for that. When he under-targeted CeeDee Lamb, it was no accountability. Nobody was going to say a word. If what it was is what it is.
Sorry, I apologize for that. But yeah. So I'll be honest, I laugh at that stuff, but I don't try to do that to Kellen. But I have, I have input. I have things I see, and I tell him this is how I think the game. Be aware of this and that. But for him to be, or anybody, it's no different. The way we do it on offense, defense, and special teams is the same. The play callers install.
You heard that?
So obviously the head coach can have input in anything he wants. We all understand that, and even during the game. So yeah, I have that ability. But for us to be the best that we can be, I feel that's the way you should run your offense, defense, and special teams.
Yeah. So that was 2021. 2022 is different. Now Mike McCarthy is pulling that chain. Here's the proof. Y'all heard him say with conviction, I don't think that's the best way to run a team. That was the first words out his mouth. Listen.
You being the play caller and being more hands-on in how that's run.
I don't think that's the best way to run an offense.
That was the first words out his mouth on him taking over play calling for Kelly. I don't think that's the way to do it. This is him now, though.
Recovery and expectations for today. And beyond that, you've gotten 300-yard rushing games out of Tony this year. But you obviously feel like you're at your best when you have both those guys. What is it that you really lose or need when you don't have Zeke?
I definitely agree with your point. First off, Zeke had a really good day yesterday. I just, to go back to last week, I thought he practiced well, but it was, it was the recovery of the day after and things like that. So that's why he didn't play. But anxious to see how much he does today. So he looks good. But yeah, definitely. The 1-2 punch, or whatever how you want to phrase it. And I say this all the time. I just cannot make the point strong enough. When you can line up and call plays and not worry about who's in the game, and you have your full menu, and they're two of your best players on offense. These guys need to touch the ball. That's one of the things I focus on during the game. Make sure these guys get touches. In the game, make sure these guys get touches. Players on offense. These guys need to touch the ball. That's one of the things I focus on during the game. Make sure these guys get touches.
And see, that's the big difference between 21 and 2022. And that's what a lot of people missing right there as we go into the playoffs. They are missing the fact that in 2021, Kellen had all power. In 2022, Mike McCarthy said that's the most important thing that he focuses on during the game is making sure that those guys get their touches. So when I made this, people thought I was joking. Oh, boss, that's a funny meme you made. Boss, that's so hilarious. You made a funny meme there. You're so creative. I'm dead serious, bro. It was a lot of laughing, but I'm dead serious on this. Every bit of this. This is what's going on. Is he said himself that the main thing that he's doing is making sure his bell cows are getting their touches. That's what he said. That's the main. So when y'all see him with the Waffle House sheet, that's what he doing. When I say Waffle House sheet, that's the play call sheet. When you see him with the play call sheet, that's what he's doing. He's keeping a track, likely, of Kellen Moore's pass to run ratios. And the main thing that he's doing is making sure that Kellen Moore stays on track. So going into 2022, that's way better than what we was last year. Because just imagine the fact that we now know how much of a crack addict Kellen Moore is now. See, we all caught up on that now. Not everybody ain't caught up, but some people caught up on that. Some people see very clearly that Kellen Moore is a pass addict. He's a pass addict. And for those of us who see it, we go take quota booty and we go live with it. Appreciate the super chat. He said just wanted to support we winning tomorrow. And see, that's how I feel, bro. Like, to me, it's like when I look at how we position now, appreciate the $20. When I look at how we position now, and you look at like us, like, and I ain't talking about emotion. I'm talking about, let's look at the dynamics of our team. Let's look at the changes that we actually made. Let's look at the fact that we are a cross-training team. When you look at the fact that Dak is better, obviously better, to the point of where he made up on a deficit of weapons. When you look at the fact that we going into the playoffs at least smart enough to keep Kellen on a quota. When you look at all those details, like the fact that we're targeting our weapons and our main weapons versus we was not doing that last year. We was basically functioning in a no identity offense to where it was no stars. It was all about the defense dictating where the ball went. It's still degrees of that, but they've obviously found some middle ground to where they know to target their guys. So check this out as we still digging into it. And I said this the other day, but I'm going to say it again. The biggest thing that helped us get here was Devin White. Devin White, after we lost to Tampa, when he said this.
Last year we learned that they really wasn't going to commit to the run game. And, you know, the runs that they did, they was...
Wait, you said when did you learn that? Hold on. When did you learn that we wasn't going to commit? Did you learn that in 2021? Let me see.
They really wasn't going to commit to the run game. Last year we learned that they really wasn't going to commit. Last year we learned that they really wasn't going to commit to. Last year we learned that they really wasn't going to commit to the run. Last year we learned that they really wasn't going to commit to the run game. Last year we learned that they really wasn't going to commit to the. Last year we learned that they really wasn't going to commit. Last year we learned that they really wasn't going to commit to the run game, and you know the runs that they did, they was going to try to get outside and not run into the interior. But most of the running game was quick game. You know, a lot of curls, a lot of hitches, you know, a lot of slants and stuff. So we kind of knew that going in, so we was able to attack it.
And he didn't evolve. Somebody said sound like Kellen evolved. He really didn't evolve. It's not that he evolved. It's more so that Mike McCarthy got more power. That's what happened. Mike McCarthy got the power that he didn't have last year. So Mike McCarthy was saying last year that he wanted to run the ball. We still wasn't doing it. But we doing it now is because we got the power. And see, we got the power. We got the power because of that Tampa loss. That's what a lot of people don't realize. See, a lot of people never saw it. We was showing it clear on this channel, but a lot of people never talked about it. It was a clear, and I'm going to show you, it was a clear divide between Kellen Moore and Mike McCarthy. It's still clear. See, listen, y'all. listen, this was the divide. Listen, because see, once we began to go on a roll, we started to go on a roll, and this is what happened. After Devin White said what he said, that opened up the door for Mike McCarthy to come out and attack Kellen Moore's systems. He was fighting for his power. This is what he said after we lost. This is Mike McCarthy after we lost to Tampa. Listen.
A lot of great questions today, but this is my favorite. So we get to talk a little ball here. But no, I've never been a big option route thrower or concept in the past. If you're going to run option routes, you need to live in that world. That's been my experience. You can't dab on it. Option routes are really not part of the old traditional West Coast offense. I've had quarterbacks in the past that didn't really like them, and it's really about the connection that they have with the receiver. I've been in systems where this is the most aggressive system that I've been in as far as many people that do run the option routes.
And he talking about Kellen Moore's system. This was a direct shot at Kellen Moore. Direct.
And so I think you see our commitment to practice. We practice it.
So after that, we begin to then focus on running the ball. That's when you finally heard Stephen Jones and Jerry started to side with Mike McCarthy on his vision of being a run-dominant team. And we started to get on a roll with even Cooper Rush being a run-dominant team. And when we got on that roll, this is what happened. 2 weeks later, when we started winning, he came out and he established the identity of our offense. Y'all listen, this is exactly what happened. Listen.
Like the running game, the mix between Tony and Zeke, 13 carries for Zeke, Tony and 15 for Zeke. Is that kind of what you want?
Oh, I think it's a winning formula. I think it's, really stems off what, we just talked about. It's, you got two guys that are feature players. They need to touch the ball. Whether we throw it to them, pitch it to them, hand it to them, it makes no difference to me personally. But
and see, this is the issue. See, he called it a winning formula. That's what he called it. Now listen to what Kellen said.
And that's important throughout the season in the NFL.
Now hold on, listen.
Hey, Colin. David Moore, California News. Mike was saying earlier how you as a staff made the determination in the offseason that defense was going to be the strength, and you kind of would play to that. From your perspective, how do you know that has implications on how you call the game, obviously? How do you get ready for that? Do you go back through how you called it last year and look at it from a different perspective, or is it just from this point going forward in camp and everything else, I'll just start looking at it differently? How do you kind of adjust where you were to where you would be now? Yeah,
I think as the season goes on, I think you just kind of identify how your team's going to play, and there's obviously a play style, and when all three sides are connected, I think that's very, very important. And so certainly we've created a formula that's been successful the last few weeks, and we're getting our rush attempts up. And
notice he said the last few weeks, because remember, this was after Mike McCarthy came out and called out his option routes. Now this has been working, and leaning on the run game has been working to produce wins for this organization way more than a few weeks. Way more than a few weeks, Kellen.
Defense is doing a tremendous job. Usually Bones, sneaks a big play in there and does an awesome job. And so, I think one big aspect of our side of it is we're not turning the ball over, and so we're managing the game really well.
But that's nothing you really preset. I mean, as it develops, you're just looking at it from that bent. It's not like you go back and go, do I have to change my tendencies or what I would do in a situation?
You're always looking back on how games have gone, but I think each game kind of has its own flavor. There's going to be games where we're going to need to throw it. There's a lot of games, and there's a lot of different approaches to this thing.
Which is totally different than what Mike McCarthy said. Mike McCarthy said that giving Pollard and Zeke his touches is their winning formula. The guy under him said there are going to be games we're going to have to come out throwing. And the games that we came out throwing we lost. We came out throwing versus Tampa. Game 1, we lost. We got on the roll. We got on the roll with running the ball up until we played Philly with Cooper Rush, and he threw it 38 times with Cooper Rush, and we lost. Yeah, we was ahead on Green Bay. Yeah, by 14 points. See, this is what he said. There are going to be games so all these games that we came out throwing, we lost. Dak threw a 40 plus times versus Green Bay. We lost. See, what's low-key happening is this is called disorder or division. Yeah. So this is called division. That's what it's called, division. So when you got one person with a vision and somebody else with a division, both of those people leading your team, that's two visions. That's called division. That's what you're looking at. So even with us being 12-5, we was divided to be 12-5 because you had your head coach saying, quoting, "This is our winning formula. This is our identity." What's the difference between San Fran and us? See, San Fran has fully embraced the physicality run style. They have embraced it. But we have disorder and dysfunction. We have Kellen Moore versus Mike McCarthy, and Mike McCarthy having to get permission and have to keep him on quotas just to be balanced. And then you have people, when I'm telling the truth and exposing it, they say, "Boss, we're balanced, boss. You're tripping. You're tripping." Yeah. And it is what it is. But at least this is the good news, though, going into 2022. This is the biggest thing, is that there's a lot of pressure on Kellen. There was no pressure on Kellen last year. It was no pressure. When he came out and he targeted Pollard only 4 times, and CeeDee Lamb only got 4 targets versus San Fran, that's when everybody was like, whoa, what was that? Like, what happened? How do your stars? And then I thought you was saving Pollard. What happened? So that's when Aikman began to speak out. That's when Emmitt spoke out. And that's when Irvin spoke out. And that's when Jimmy Johnson spoke out. That's when but see, it snuck everybody in 2021. Nobody was talking about it. I was just starting to talk about it. I was just starting to see it. I was falling for the big numbers. I was falling for the #1 offense in yards and points. I was falling for it. But then I start seeing this no identity system, and everybody else starts seeing it. Well, not everybody. It's still some people that's Kellen Moore apologists, believe it or not. It's a lot of people out there that they still swear by Kellen Moore. And I understand this is a lot of research. You had to keep up with this almost on a weekly basis like I did to likely even see it. If you kind of like a surface fan, or you somebody that's follow the Cowboys casually, you like, I don't know what you're talking about. But if you following it to the level that these people that been following this channel follow this, they already keeping up with this. But see, the good news going into 2022 is this. It's all the massive pressure that was on Kellen that was not there last year. That's why I said this is the most important thing. It's the pressure. I heard them all week this week on the fan. I heard one guy say, and I loved it. I really wish I could go find that guy. I would kiss him on his forehead. Because what he said was so. He said, I think it was Chill Follow on G-Bag. Somebody said it, but it was loud, emphatic, and strong, and it needed to be said like that. He said, listen, if we lose this game, he said the first thing I'm gonna look at, and this is the type of pressure you need on Kellen. He said the first thing I'm gonna look at, I'm gonna go look at the targets on Pollard, and I'm gonna look at the targets and touches to CeeDee Lamb. He said that's the most important thing I'm gonna look at. He said, I don't care about your system. I don't care. I was loving it because I've never heard this from the fan. Never. I've never heard it. I never heard the local pressure so strong on Kellen until this week. It was super strong. And I loved what they were saying. I've been waiting on it. I was waiting on it a whole year. And to hear them finally putting the pressure on getting your stars involved. This is the type of stuff that's going to help propel us in the playoffs. That's why we are clearly better now, even with less than 2021. Going into the playoffs now, the most important thing that we have is at least a quota on Kellen. That's the most important thing. Because I guarantee you this, Kellen was not, and we was not go win 4 games with his former offensive system. It was not going to happen. We might have got lucky and maybe won 1. But this thing was going to fall on his face because the playoff pressure is too strong. It's too tight to have a system breakdown. No. And it's still going to be tight. I still hate the fact that they on 2 different pages. Regardless of what happens this year, Kellen needs to be fired. Regardless, mainly because they on 2 different pages. Yeah, we need 30 touches minimum. Yeah, and for the most part, Trey, we've been doing that. But see, there are certain games, Trey, we need even more than that. The problem with Kellen is you likely ain't gonna get no more than that because he really calling plays like it's on a quota. That's why don't run up on me trying to brag on how balanced we are. It's certain games to where we'll do better with a 60-40, even over 50-50 touches to passes. Running back touches to passes. We'll do better 60-40 on a lot of games. Yeah. So, and see, a lot of people, that's what they falling for, Trey. Oh, we had 30 attempts. Oh, Kellen is doing his job. Oh, we're balanced. We're balanced. See, when you look at it and you say we balanced, you not you, Trey. I'm just saying in general. This is what a lot of people missing. They won't see that we threw the ball 8 times in a row and punted 3 times and had 3 and outs before we finally start keeping that ball on the ground. And then because he on a quota, he'll start running the ball like real dumb because he trying to catch up to his quota. He trying to end that game in balance so his bosses can be like, yep, Kellen, you was in balance this game. You was in balance. You know, but listen, that gives us a way better chance. Still, even with the dysfunction, it still gives us a way better chance. We are 12-5 with this dysfunction. And this dysfunction lasted the whole season. Like Kellen Moore didn't learn. I know a lot of people say he evolved. He ain't learned. This is one thing Emp pointed out as a pattern. This is what Emp pointed out as a clear pattern. And for everybody that's afraid that he might come out pass happy, this is where you do have to be concerned. The games in which Kellen Moore usually came out very aggressive passing was games we was favored and clear favorites. So like the Texans, the Colts, the Titans, Green Bay. Those were the games that where he came out super aggressive passing. Another way that you know or can suspect that a lot of this play calling is about him, he's also pass happy versus big name quarterbacks. So if anybody is concerned about him being pass happy this game, you should, because of the pattern of what he does. It's almost why some of us believe that he play calling for a job. It's not about the Cowboys, it's about him standing out. So when he get into them big games, them big duels, my quarterback versus your quarterback. And that's why you'll see stuff like a drive working and he'll sneak in a dumb trick play because he trying to get credit. That's what it looked like. It looks like he trying to get noticed as the play caller. That's what it comes across as. That's why regardless of whatever happens, I don't care if we get all the way to the Super Bowl and lose, Kellen needs to go. You cannot have an OC and a head coach divided. You just can't. That's if you serious about winning a championship, Dallas. If you serious about winning the championship, you will not side with Kellen. You will side with Mike McCarthy. Because Mike McCarthy, it was his leash that got you 12-5. It's his leash. Yes, this is the comment of the day right here. This is the super chat of the day. This might be the super chat of the year. Boss Kellen still thinks that it's system and we don't have stars. Yup, that's the problem. And that's why I still like us going into this playoffs, because this year is just different. This year is pressure on Kellen. There's been a lot of exposing of Kellen. Even Devin White came out and exposed him.
That they really wasn't going to commit to the run game, and you know,
like, how can you be Kellen Moore and the last big statement about you was this, and you don't take that personal?
Last year we learned that they really wasn't going to commit to the run game.
How can somebody come out there and expose you like this, and you don't take it personal?
Last year we learned that they really wasn't going to commit to the run.
How can somebody say that and you don't say, okay, this year you go get what you want, big dog. You've been wanting this run game, you getting ready to get it.
Last year we learned that they really wasn't going to commit to the run game, and
yeah. And see, when I say run game, I ain't even just talking about handing it off either. I'm saying get them balls touches. Touches is more important than runs. Touches is also throwing it to your running backs. Did y'all notice New York was throwing it a lot today to Saquon Barkley? Did y'all notice how many times the Giants moved the chains from not just stubbornly running the ball? That's why Mike McCarthy said, I don't care how you give it to them, just give them they touches. We the ones saying run the ball, but in reality, Mike McCarthy not even saying run the ball. He's saying give them their touches. He don't even care how you, just give your best players the ball, Kellen. Yeah, we the ones running the damn ball. Really, Mike ain't on that run the damn ball. Mike is on touch the damn ball. They need their touches. Yeah. So when I look at 21 and 22, I do see some big differences. Not small differences, I see big differences. We targeting the stars. We doing that. We have better discipline now. Yup. Our defense, forgive me for getting the turnover differential all backwards. I messed that all the way up. I fixed it at the end. But our defense is still top in turnover differential where it counts. Our weapons are not as good, but our quarterback is. That's the key. Our weapons and our perimeter weapons are not as good, but our quarterback is better. So it actually, that's a net That's kind of neutral, right? The major part is our trenches are better. We embrace cross training now. And the most important one is that there's now pressure on Kellen Moore. When I look at all of that, to me, that supersedes the fear that Black Will was talking about. Where, like how he said, bro, we don't even act like we getting ready to win as a fan base. I can't look at all of that stuff and just see us losing. Now, if Kellen Moore wasn't on no leash, I would think we getting ready to lose. I would. But the fact that it's public pressure on Kellen, and it was even a call out to Kellen. It was a call out.
Last year we learned that they really wasn't going to commit to the run game, and the runs that they did, they was going to try to get outside and not run into the interior.
I mean, you can't call nobody out more clear than that. Like, it's so many factors that's pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing this stubborn dog to do us right. I don't see how we don't.
Wasn't going to commit to the run game, and the runs that they did.
So yeah, so I really do see, when I add it all up and I measure all the Koolaid, I see us better going into 2022. The only player that I miss out of the acquisitions is Amari Cooper. He the only one. I don't miss Lyle. I don't miss Randy Gregory. I think Fowler is by himself is better than Randy Gregory. If you add up what we are as a unit, we better. Yeah, going into 2022. Mike McCarthy got more power over that stubborn dog Kellen. Shoot, man, I feel good. I feel good about the game. It's gonna still be a war, but bro, scared? Nah, bro. I'm finna open up these call lines, man. Y'all call on in, and then I'm gonna get on out of here. But I'm ready for this game. Let's sit back with confidence, y'all. Let's get ready to enjoy this. This is getting ready to be something we haven't seen in a while. We finna see us actually win games in the playoffs this time. That's what we go see this year. We go see us actually go on a run this year. It's gonna be a feeling that some people have never felt. Some fans. Some of us gonna be like, I haven't felt this in a while. But for the young fans out there that's pessimistic, you getting ready to see something different. And I'm not saying this, I really feel like I measured this Kool-Aid. Our penalties are way down. Our quarterback is getting pissed on. I love that he getting pissed on right now. One of the things that would have me nervous more than anything if they were just praising that going into the playoffs. I like that right now. People got him ranked as the 12th best quarterback. See, all of that, this is exactly what I said makes the best come out of this team. If you know your team, you should see the same thing. You should see exactly what I see. This is bringing out the best out of your team. We knew last year when we just blew out our division, we were 6-0, and then we blew our Philly and they B team going into the playoffs. Some people would have called that hot. What did that lead to? Boss Cowboy Sports.
Hey, boss, how you doing?
Hey.
Hi, yes. So, I also believe that we should have confidence about the game that we're going to play tomorrow. But my one concern is that Tampa does what we're weak on defense. They do a lot of quick game, and Brady likes to get the ball out fast. And over the past couple of weeks, that's given our defense a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And
That's something to be
I
concerned
think,
with.
huh?
That's something to be concerned with. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And I think that for our second cornerback position, I truly believe Daron Bland and Kelvin Joseph should be out there playing because I don't believe that he's as bad as people try to bring him out to be. He's had better coverage tape out there than mostly all the corners that they've asked to be out there.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. It says a lot about you too. It says a lot about you. You willing to go against the crowd on that. It says you're an independent person. What else you got?
Also, I believe that, if Kellen just runs the ball with Zeke and Pollard and Dak hits the CD, we have enough to get to where we need to be. As long as we do what we're supposed to do and focus on the players that we need to be focused on, we should be fine.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see, man. What's your name?
Matt.
Matt. Thanks for the call, Matt.
All right, no problem.
All right, that was Matt. So I want to talk about some of the things that he brought up, man. So he talked about quick game. That's going to be a problem. That is going to be a problem. You can't get away from that. You're dealing with a quarterback you can't fool him. And who knows exactly where to go with the ball. Right? It's no getting away from that. The only way you can try to limit that is you have to be able to challenge his receivers to try to disrupt timing. That's the only thing you can do. Is you got to be willing to take risk with a lot of man coverage and a lot of press. If you playing a lot of press, you could slow Brady down from getting the ball out, but that also means your pass rush has to get home. The good news is that we hit Brady a lot the last time. So this ain't something that that I'm taking them light. But the main thing is this, to me, in my opinion. Because they've been leaning on Brady arm this whole season. He has a lot of attempts. Yeah, I got the new number up there, Tariq. The new number sitting right there on the screen. But this the deal. You got to challenge Brady, and that pass rush got to get home. If that pass rush get home and pressure him, get him off his spot, that's going to put him in a good place. Now, he also talked about Kelvin Joseph with Daron Bland. I definitely agree that Kelvin Joseph had some of the best coverage tape out there. He just got beat on about 3 plays. And they gave up on him after those 3 plays. They just didn't want to. But in terms of who looked consistent out there coverage-wise, it was Joseph's. I definitely agree with that. This is the deal, though, about cornerback 2, though. I think corner 2 for us is also a panic. I think we panicking over corner 2, just to be all the way honest. Because yes, Anthony Brown was good, but Anthony Brown was also giving up explosive plays before he got injured. He was giving up explosive plays too. Big plays. Okay? So, really at the end of the day is with cornerback 2, we just need somebody to come in and play just as good as Anthony Brown, which to me is not asking too much, to be honest. If Xavier Rhodes can come in here and be just as good or a little bit better, problem with cornerback 2 is solved. Bland is already because we all saying it wrong too, because we actually already have corner 2. Corner 2 is Bland. That's who corner 2 is. Because whenever we play a base defense where we're not playing nickel or dime, where you have 3 corners or 3 safeties or 4 corners with a mix of safeties, whenever we're not playing nickel or dime, the starting 2 corners is always Diggs and Bland. So that tell you who the number 2 corner is. What we're really talking about is the number 3 corner. That's what we're talking about. So if Xavier Rose can handle the outside while Bland is locking down or doing this thing in the slot and can be decent, like he don't even have to be amazing. Xavier Rose just need to be decent. If he's decent, we win this game. So I just like where we are. And I still got the call lines open too, Tyreek. Tyreek, I know you asked about the number. This is the new number. The 210-940-9064. Yeah. And you know, this is the thing. My boy, obviously from San Fran, he said the Cowgirls and Tampa Bay Bucks are very soft teams. I mean, you know, you can stick your chest out, bro. I mean, you deserve it for right now. San Fran playing good ball. You know, you can stick your chest out. That's good. Have at it, big dog. You know, it's I tell you what. When we see y'all don't want us running the ball. I'm telling you right now, San Fran, y'all don't want that. Or, let me say it better. Y'all don't want us focus on Zeke and Pollard getting their touches. Oh, you don't want that. A hot San Fran versus a hot Dallas, we'll knock y'all out. Now, an inconsistent Dallas versus a hot San Fran, oh yeah, y'all go beat us. But if y'all run up on a hot Dallas, so like if y'all run up on a Dallas after we beat Tampa, if y'all run up on Dallas after we beat Philly, y'all don't want to see that. San Fran. It's not going to be the classic you think it is, boy. It's not going to be this soft that you think it is, boy. You understand me? Nah, it's not yet. It's going to be what we always do to y'all. Because we going to take that very personal. And it's going to be a revenge game for us. And it's going to be in your house. We going to come out to the boombox on you hoes. That's what's going to happen. All right? So just keep in mind, man. But you know, I got respect for San Fran, man. I ain't gonna talk too much because y'all actually earned where y'all are. You know, San Fran is a model organization. You really are. One of the things I love about San Fran from a distance is y'all always have prided yourself on being an organization that shuns entitlement. Y'all been doing that great for years. For years. It's no such thing as favoritism in San Fran. You can be Alex Smith, who was a top pick, 5-1, and they'll bench you for Kaepernick just to get a little bit better. San Fran has always been like that. That's the only issue with Dallas is always intermingling a little bit of favoritism in politics into their sauce. San Fran has pure sauce in terms of culture. And see, that's what makes everybody rise. When you know I can actually win a job here, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all third string quarterback, I guarantee you, he is not losing his job to even the guy y'all just drafted. You say CMC with gash our defense, bro. You lucky CMC ain't even got hurt yet. See, you talking a little bit too much, little boy. You talking a little bit too much. Now I let you come in here and stick your chest out, but you're starting to go a little bit too far now, big dog. You need to calm your little self down. You starting to trip a little bit, cause see, you still only got 5 rings. You ain't no better than us on that. Cause that's how to actually judge teams too. So really lately, y'all actually more so becoming the big chokers. Because you getting there and you're losing it by choking. So you better win it. With all this sauce you got right now, you better win the whole thing. Cause see, one of us are positioned to win the whole thing. I think it's gonna come down between Dallas or San Fran. It's gonna be just like any one of them old Super Bowls. Once we figure out who gonna be the NFC representative, that's gonna be the Super Bowl winner. But you need to calm down, little dog. You tripping, all right? You tripping. Cause see, y'all ain't got our talent. Y'all just got a better culture. But you ain't got none on. Yeah, y'all got a better culture, but y'all can't touch us on talent. So calm down. Yeah. But anyway, man, y'all ain't calling in. I want to go ahead and give y'all my sauce on before we play tomorrow, so we can get ready to enjoy this, man. We can sit back, kick our feet up. It's gonna be a fight. It's gonna be a back and forth. It's gonna be a back and forth. Get ready for that. It's gonna either be a back and forth or it's gonna be a blowout. And what I mean is we gonna blow them out. Either it's gonna be a good competitive game or we gonna run them out of here. Mark my words. It's gonna be only one of the two, no in between. It's not gonna be a halfway good game. It's gonna either be a good game down to the wire, or it's gonna be Dallas just ran off on them. Because we way better than them and we coming in with the right environment. But it's gonna be interesting, man. So y'all continue to stay with Boss Cowboy Sports. I forgot to tell y'all to do this. Hopefully y'all hit it down for your boy. But make sure make sure, man, y'all hit that like. Yeah. Make sure y'all hit that like and subscribe, before we get up out of here. And share this content. Because a lot of fans, they need to come on with it, man. They need to go on and get their minds right. And they need to realize that, first of all, it's been a long time since we even made back-to-back playoffs. So this is already a good day for us. If we truly count our blessings, this is already a good day. Because every other year we will make the playoffs, and then the next year we'll be working on draft content by now. Ain't none of us talking about the draft right now. See, back in the day, we would have been talking about the draft by December. Ain't nobody even thinking about the draft right now. Like, some of us have started work. Obviously, I've started doing work and researching people. But we already in a good place. This is already, to a degree, a good year. But 21 and 22 are the same in this. Dallas has way too much talent not to win it all. Talent-wise, I would say talent-wise, Dallas and Buffalo, the most talented teams in the entire NFL. This should be the year, just like last year should have been the year. Easily. We had 14 penalties and it was still a game. And see, yeah, man, you getting ready to start getting on my nerves. And do say Purdy is greater than Prescott. Purdy is doing good, but Purdy, this is the truth about Purdy. Purdy has a way better team than what Dak Prescott walked into. Way better team. Way better situation. Now, I know a lot of y'all, even a lot of Cowboy fans, ready to hop on Purdy balls. But Purdy is doing good. And Purdy, as of right now, he should be y'all lock quarterback going into next year. I don't care when whoever was drafted. I don't care. Purdy doing good. He is a young Dak as of right now. Poised, pretty accurate with the football, playing relatively clean. It's just what it is. Like, I ain't hating on Purdy. See, I don't hate on Purdy like y'all hate on Dak. See, you saying that to hate, but see, I ain't no hater like you and y'all. Like, most of y'all that be hating on Dak, y'all know Dak way better, and y'all know y'all be disrespectful with that bullshit. Like, that's very disrespectful for y'all to keep picking these new booty quarterbacks who has no experience, and y'all keep exalting them new quarterbacks over Dak as if Dak don't have no long track record of throwing success by now. But that's cool. I'm going to let y'all disrespect until tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, all of y'all go start learning firsthand respect. See, the only reason y'all putting y'all funky ass chest out right now is because we've had some ugly, choke, dumb losses. But that's going to stop tomorrow. It's going to first start when we knock off this dude Brady and Tampa. And then when we knock off Philly, we not gonna see these type of insulting and hateful and literally dumb comments. The disrespect of Dak is gonna stop this year. And it's gonna stop because we gonna earn it. This is the year, Cowboy fans, we getting ready to shut these boys up. It's not even about even winning the Super Bowl. We will be an underperforming team this year if we don't win the Super Bowl. But we at least finna shut up a lot of people this year. We go shut up Philly. We go shut up Tampa. It's gonna be a battle with San Fran. But we go shut up a lot of people this year. Y'all mark my words, man. It's Boss Cowboy Sports where your voice matter. Peace. Don't kick him out.
Boss Cowboy Sports.
Don't ever kick him out.
Where your voice
Don't kick him
matters.
out. I like them trolls. Don't kick out the trolls. See, because I want them trolls when we rolling. See, don't kick out your enemy. Just set your table in the presence of your enemy. Don't kick them out. They looking anyway. So yeah, don't kick them out. Always let your haters get a first-hand view of what you doing. Real talk. Moderators never kick out.
Boss Cowboy Sports.
Let's go.
Another one.
Run it up, run it up.
Bring it real back. He be speaking his mind. That boy was the shit.